Oh, we're under here. Yeah, I took the garbage out and didn't reset it. All right, well, take the garbage out. Don't reset. Maybe that's a whole topic.
Time to make the donuts.
Time to make the donuts.
No, it's a great commercial.
Time to make the donuts. Hang in there, folks. We're going to go live here in just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go live.
We're morning.
I read the news today, a 2-bit expose of the same old story that I heard yesterday. Yeah, it goes the headlines, man. They all just go to plan. They're framed and fixed and rigged, and you know they're all just spam. So buckle down, look right in. It crawls its way under your skin. Just got by on the things they spout. And you should give me that good news. Because I'm tired of the same old shit.
Well, that same old shit you're not going to get here on the grounds. I don't know where I are because it's two guys. Who knows? Welcome, 21.6net. This is The Grounds. Of course, brought to you through the support of our good friends right here. Look at that. CannabisCBDShop.com, 815-687-2608. Why? Well, if you're not familiar with the, health benefits of CBD,
Right.
you need to stop over there and get educated about it. You're having trouble sleeping. Maybe you are going through some hormonal changes in your life. Stop into the Cannabis CBD shop right here on Front. What is it?
Front Street, Route 31, yeah. Front Street. Yep.
And they'll give you good education.
Come on in, stop in for a one-on-one consultation. We'll let you know all the good benefits of it. Male, female, dog, cat.
Whatever,
you name it.
Whatever it is.
Whatever
you're into.
Yeah. Whatever you're into. Doesn't matter.
So he's Giles. I'm Jones. Any topic is or no topic?
No topic.
No
topic.
topic. Is a good topic?
I don't know.
Anyway.
I don't know.
Anyway, listen, this is the show that's uniquely unique.
Uniquely unique. I like that.
And you can be part of the show. There's a link right up there. Good old Uncle Pete is plopping that out there. You'll see that. Copy that link, put it into your URL, and join the show. Come on in. We know Gary. Good morning, Gary from Singapore. He always likes to jump on from time to time.
Yep.
He's filled in for you when you were doing your stuff.
I was out in the field, so to speak, right?
Yeah. So here's the deal. We anything goes. Whatever topic you want to talk about, shoot us some topics. What's on your mind? Anything from politics to peanut butter, but
no politics. Although it seems like everything these days just segues right into politics.
Goes very politically, right?
It's crazy.
Look at this guy. Here he is. Look at that. After I wake my daughter up, I'll jump in.
All right.
There you go.
Well, just let her sleep. Or is it time for school?
Yeah, right. All right. So here's the deal is this is just on my mind as I was perusing things during the Power Hour playlist is headlines read, Russia, the whole war in Ukraine, right?
Right.
Russia doing this as the world is outraged. Are we really outraged? Do you find people just literally outraged that there is a war going on over there? Or are people like, yeah, all right, well, there's a war.
I think it's a toss-up, really. I mean, there are those people out there that just live and die by watching the news and listening to it and sucking in all the negativity that they throw at them, right?
Yeah.
But then I'm thinking and I'm hoping that there's a lot of people also out there kind of like me and you that realize it's going on. Not much we can do about it. So going on with our daily lives and, just trying to help that one person every day, making someone else's day better instead of making it just outrage and just constantly bringing up the negatives and the bads. I mean, hey, like you this morning, I called in and said, hey, what's going on, brother? It's a beautiful day. I'm like, it's raining and it's cold. It's like, it's a beautiful day.
It's a beautiful day.
It's all in the perception of how we look at it.
Good morning, Lord. Not good Lord, it's morning.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Right. But are people outraged? Yeah, there's people outraged. It's sad. It's horrible. It's ridiculous.
Are they outraged? I mean, I imagine the people directly affected and in that area or who have family in that area are probably outraged. They have right to be.
Right. But as far as people here in the United States.
But in the 20 years that the United States had overthrown a government in a foreign land
Right.
on a war that we said we're fighting
For them.
terrorism.
Right.
We ran the entire country. Did you, in one of those 20 years, did you see the headline, U.S. battles on, world is outraged? The answer is
No.
not in 20 years. What's
No.
different?
It's a good question. What's different?
Now, if all the world's a stage, of course, we could ask Gary the same thing in Singapore. Perhaps he did see a headline like that.
Right.
Bad America.
Well, I mean, how
World
do you,
is
I mean,
outraged.
well, outrage. I mean, how do you react to something like that? I mean, you know, we don't like to talk politics here, but we kind of have to edge on it a little bit. How do you really talk about that? Or
War?
Right. I mean,
war has happened since the world has been around, right? I mean,
right. We're always fighting about something.
People fighting for territory, people fighting over beliefs,
right.
People fighting over religion. It's been going on since the world has been around, right?
Right. There's Gary checking in from Singapore.
Good morning, my friend.
Good morning to you.
So is Gary? Is everyone in Singapore just outraged about the war in Ukraine, or is it like, yeah, there's another?
You mean there's a war going on? Oh, geez, we probably haven't read our news.
That's funny. I'm laughing with Kent when you say that. Going, oh, there's a war going on. I mean, realistically, do we? If there wasn't for news, right? If there wasn't for the news channels and all that stuff, would you even know it's going on? I mean,
okay. I guess for us, we do know that there's a war going on. But it is so far removed from us in terms of distance. There is a sizable Russian-Ukrainian community here in Singapore.
Yeah.
Most of them have been here for quite a few years. Some of them have businesses and things like that. But no, as far as we're concerned, sure, you get the usual Red Cross, the Red Cross of Singapore appeals for donations and aids to Ukraine's war refugees. You get the usual things. But other than that, it is pretty much business as usual for us.
Yeah, you guys are not outraged at it, right?
With the only exception, and I guess probably most Americans do not know about it also. A couple of one of the key anti-tank weapons that is used by the Ukrainian army is actually invented by us and sold by us. We actually created the Javelin. We actually created the Matador anti-tank missile in conjunction with Israel and Germany. So that is currently being actively used by the Ukrainian military. But other than that, most people, we just view it as just a war. But it's too far removed from us. It doesn't really affect us in our daily lives, actually.
Right. That's why I say I don't think the world is outraged at this. It's just like, well, okay. I mean, it's like when you were in high school.
Well, hold on. I guess define outraged to me. What would you consider outraged? Just like completely taken aback, just ruining their life. I mean, what is the definition of outrage?
I'll find it for him.
Right, he's going to pull that up for us. The only reason I'm asking that is because mad, outraged. I mean, disappointed. Where are we really going here? I mean, for me, I'm disappointed in more than anything. It's just ridiculous.
We are not taking to the streets. If one of the definition of outrage is protest, well, we are certainly not taking the streets. We got a lot more other things to worry about here.
Right. Yeah. Worry about home front first.
Outrage.
Yeah, I mean, yes, and I mentioned to Ken in the earlier program that so we have breaking news today is that as part of the release of the further relaxation of COVID measures, there will be no more group limits for gathering in Singapore. There will be no more capacity limits for any venues in Singapore. There will be no more social distancing in Singapore for anybody.
Wow.
And there won't be any more further need to do the application check-in for the tracking of cases. There won't be any need for that unless the event has more than 500. Unless there's certain events such as night sports and certain F&B, but the rest of it, shopping centers, you can just go in out. So we are actually removing quite a lot of things. The only last bastion is we're waiting for whether the announcement that we will need to wear masks indoors. We now do not need to wear masks outdoors. There's no more outdoor mask mandate, but there's still an indoor mask mandate and public transport mask mandate. So we're waiting for that final thing to be cut off, and then we're open for business basically.
And what portion of the population in Singapore now is saying, geez, it's about time. Man, should never take
Everybody
away
actually.
anyway.
Everybody actually.
There you go. Right.
We have one of the highest vaccination rates, 96% full vaccination. So
So that's good.
So we are getting only about 1,000 cases a day with 1 or 2 deaths.
Yeah, I mean that's exciting, and here in the United States there are cases that are spiking again.
Yes.
A lot of the issue too here is a lot of people, it's cold season, so a lot of people are getting colds, especially here in the Midwest. With tomorrow it's supposed to be 85, today it's 42.
Right, and then Sunday it's supposed to be 50s again. Yeah, just messing with everybody.
Yeah, so it's just kind of messing with everything.
We want that weather over here. Right. We are getting high 90s over here.
Right. So
do I need to mute him? Maybe I should just mute him. High 90s.
So all right. What do we got for
outrage?
Outrage
as a noun, an extremely strong reaction of anger, shock, or indignation. As a verb, arouse fierce anger, shock, or indignation in someone. So
I'd say we're not outraged.
The world is not outraged.
We're not outraged based on that. That's why I wanted to ask the definition.
That's
based on that definition, I would say we're not outraged.
Right.
I would say more so disappointed, more so frustrated.
Yeah.
More so.
No, I'm not. Why am I frustrated? I'm not frustrated.
Well, because
Who cares?
Well, because our government is allowing what's going on in other countries to affect our livelihoods. Uh-oh. I got him. He's slapping his head.
Oh, my God.
Hit the nail on the head.
Scott, that's been the history of the United States since government was made.
That's true.
So you're acting as if it's something new. It's not.
It's just a new war.
95% of all the oil product that the U.S. use comes from the United States today. So just everybody's like, oh, no, you really... And now you're buying into exactly what the propaganda wants to do. Oh, well, because of the war in Ukraine, that's why we have inflation. Absolutely not. So yeah, you have fallen hook,
line, and sinker
in the net for exactly what you get upset about people following. And that's exactly what happens. Bob says, man's inhumanity to man doesn't seem to matter to most people unless it directly affects them personally.
True.
Correct?
Yes, true. Yeah.
Correct. Ted says, my computer is updating.
So he'll be in soon.
Yeah.
So he'll be in soon.
So in the world, in the world, the narrative is the narrative by the people who run the world. And again, we can just say roll back and follow the money throughout history.
Right.
So whatever that narrative should be, that's what people jump into. A lot of people, and I saw, and I wish I don't have it with me right here, but there was a group of people on a major news network who was very upset that Elon Musk was trying to buy Twitter.
Right.
And they said he's trying to buy Twitter so he can control the narrative. That's our job. That was a quote unquote. That's what they said.
Right. The news media. Yeah, that's their
right. That's our job, is to control the narrative.
Control. Right. Control.
Okay. So that happens, right? And you hear that and you go, what? And then who did Twitter get bought by? Anyone? No one was even thinking of buying it. All of a sudden, Elon Musk did, right?
Well, you know what's crazy is he only bought 9%, and that's a majority stakeholder. That's
correct.
For me, 9%. That's like doesn't seem like a lot as far as a majority stakeholder. I mean, I'm sure it's worth a ton of cash, but 9% is a majority stakeholder. Like, okay. Right. And they're worried about that. And from what I get is he's wanting to do that so we can actually have a platform for free speech that's not getting regulated and, shot down like the FB words and the books of some other things and, Instagram, where they actually regulate what you say and how you can say it.
Yeah.
Which is not free speech, which is what our country was based on. We're supposed to be based on, right? Supposed to be based on. That's supposed to be.
You think that America?
It's your country. You guys can have a discussion on that.
But that's one of our inalienable rights, isn't it?
It's anybody's inalienable right, isn't it?
Supposed to be, but in the United States it is. In other countries, communist countries, it's not.
Well, they got the right to say whatever they want.
But not over the social media channels.
Well, sure they can.
Wow. But it's all being taken down.
Yeah, they can say whatever they want. It's just whether would they get to see the sunrise.
That's what I'm saying. No, I'm saying here in America. That's what I'm saying. That's why I heard Elon wants to take over.
When did it stop in America?
Yesterday.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
We grew up in a time where Russia was bad, the Cold War. Russia bad,
right?
And Korea as well because of Red Dawn, right? So Russia bad. These guys they monitor everything. They don't tell the people who live there, their citizens, everything. They hide everything. Communism bad. Mm-hmm. So when did that freedom of speech stop in America?
The day it started. Right. No, and I hear you. And it's one of those things that we never really realized it until we started getting like through social media where you could actually see it firsthand where they're actually stopping you and shutting you down. If you put a post on there that says something that you're not supposed to say, they'll wipe it clean.
Yeah.
You never really saw anything like that before until we had social media because it was me talking to you. So you might get in trouble from somebody else telling you not to say anything, but now they're actually getting rid of it.
Editors for the newspaper, that's where we used to get the information. They had agendas too, and the people who paid the newspaper said that we're either going to bury that one or we're not going to run that story.
Right.
Too much truth in there.
Right.
Or whatever the case may be. It's been that way since the dawn of man.
Right.
Adam and Eve. Hey, we don't have to tell them that we ate this apple. Right? Hey, that wasn't even here in America.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just saying that our quote unquote freedoms and our quote unquote constitution makes us feel good and think that we the people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, perfect example of that too that I was thinking about was that good old movie Good Morning. What the heck is with
Good Morning Vietnam?
Good Morning Vietnam.
Good Morning Vietnam.
They regulated everything he could or couldn't say.
Right.
So they could determine what the people were getting in
America.
Right. And so that censorship, there you go. That's the word I was trying to think of. Censoring. The censorship is just
always been
it's always been there. It's just now it's way more prevalent. Especially now that Elon's, coming forward, trying to buy this company, saying, I want to, allow people to talk open and freely. But then, for me, the Mr. Questionable, is that really what he wants? Or does he want to control the narrative for his benefit? Right. I don't know.
Absolutely.
It's one of those questions that I question, I ponder, I think about it, but I try not to spend too much time because there ain't much I can do about it because I'm certainly not going to be able to buy 9% of Twitter.
I mean, the slap herd around the world has faded out. People are not, quote unquote, outraged about the war over there between Russia and Ukraine.
People were more outraged about Will hitting.
And so what do we have to do? Well, if they start digging, they'll see a lot of information about Hunter Biden and things that, well, they should really be upset about it. But we will say that let's focus on a multi-billionaire buying a social media
platform.
Company. Yeah. Big deal. Who cares who owns that? You never cared until that day, right? Well, and then all he had to use was the word free speech, and then all of America, he should. This South African man should do this because he believes strongly in free speech.
Right. So do you think this has anything to do with, we've talked about it a little bit before, but the old premise of wag the dog?
No, absolutely.
Right. It's so ridiculous. I mean, well, I just and I'm asking you that because how many people?
Why do you care who owns a social media company?
I really don't.
People are not up in arms that I own this one.
And you are the man.
You see what I'm saying?
You know what? People are up in arms because the media pushes them that way, right? They control, as you put it, the narrative. They're the ones that are keeping people excited and up in arms about it. So Bob says, when did America start to restrict freedom of speech? Cohen versus California, 1971, a California statute prohibiting the display of offensive messages violated freedom of expression. I think it was going way before 71 there.
Oh yeah.
I think
That may be a battle that
that was one that probably
battle.
stuck out. That was one that stuck out to people. But yeah, I mean, censorship has always been there, but now it's way more prevalent because we have the social media stations that everybody's playing. Not everybody, but I'm going to use it. Generally is everybody is playing on and concerned about. If it wasn't for that, would the country still be running? Would the people still be pissed off at things? Yeah, but now they're controlling much easier the narrative and what we're upset about and who we're upset at. Right? Instead of before, because if you didn't know, like with me being certain things I don't pay attention to, if I don't know, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I don't think about
Ignorance is bliss. Still is.
It still is and always
Still
will
is.
be. Always will be. Just depends on what you're deciding to be ignorant about, right? I mean,
well, to the point, if it doesn't affect you, who cares?
Right.
Right?
Right. Well, and that's I guess for me, I don't want to say, if it doesn't affect me, I don't care. Even if it doesn't affect me, I still think about it.
For 20 years, America invaded a foreign land. We went in there and took it over. And for 20 years, no one was outraged here in America.
Well, it was for our benefit.
They're fighting terrorism.
It was for our benefit, is what they told us, right? So we believed it.
And now we're like, wait, Russia, you can't do that. But what if Russia said, hey, America, we're just protecting our borders.
Just like you did.
Or just like you want to, right?
So what makes us any different?
Yeah, you're right.
Well, we're a communist country, so communist country shouldn't have that right to do it. Is that right? Just the Americans?
And not every place in the world has to have a democratic society.
Right.
There are more places that don't have democratic societies that function absolutely beautifully.
Yeah, true. We are not Singapore is not a democracy in the true sense of the American definition.
Right.
We're actually more of a hybrid socialist in government policies, but capitalist in the economy. That's our hybrid. So we are a very mixture, and that's why a lot of Americans always scratch their heads over Singapore's success, because they claim that we have a dictator. They claim that we have a one-party rule for 6 decades, which is true. They claim that we have the death penalty. They claim that we have no freedom. We have now 90,000 cameras spread all over Singapore that can track crimes and things like that. But they don't understand why this dictatorship country, Disneyland with a death penalty, still is so prosperous and people still want to go there. I think it's just a definition of what democracy is in the eyes of many people. We take it very differently, and frankly, we never really care what other people think, actually.
And it works great for that island, right? And that's wonderful. Let it be. Why do I have to try to force feed our political agendas or what we feel is a great way to rule a country down their throat? We shouldn't. They look at us and scratch their head and go, oh, gee, y'all
bunch
are
of morons. Bunch of morons. Why are you doing
idiots,
this?
Right?
Oh, and we are going to execute the drug trafficker that carried 2 kilograms of marijuana next Wednesday. He's set for execution.
2 kilograms.
Oh boy.
Of marijuana.
Marijuana.
So he's going to get a couple families high for a year. Put him to death.
Hey, Ted, welcome in, buddy.
Yeah, well, we're just going to hang him straight. That's all. But it's not a public execution. There's no public execution. It will be done in the prison itself. But the date of execution has been set for next Wednesday.
Yeah. See?
That's I mean, but people call it the devil's lettuce, right?
Right.
For something for something that, and I'm not trying to downplay it. I'm a big advocate of that, but to put someone to death for something, I guess it is your law. It is your laws. I get it. So they broke the law there, and that's the penalty. But it's still, for me, it seems quite stiff. It's not like he was doing, giving kids.
Well, people are against the death penalty here.
Right. It's
a little harsh, that's for sure.
I think it's a little extreme.
Why do you think it's harsh? Here's the law. Here's the penalty for it. Right. You chose to break it.
True. Right.
Here in America, you're like Singapore.
Why do I think it's harsh?
Wait, you were driving 5 miles over the speed limit, and you guys got a $35 ticket? Well, that's pretty harsh.
Some of the
No, man,
things that
that's
they kill people
right.
over.
And then if you look at it, go ahead,
Say
sorry,
that, Ted.
Some of the things they put people to death over are crazy.
Oh yeah, and that's you know what
But
I mean,
that's their law.
and that's their law. And Kent makes a great point. I get it, but for us, for me, coming from America, going, wait a minute, you did something that now is legal in the United States. I know it's not legal there, but that you're going to put them to death for it.
It's legal in some places, not federally legal.
Let's
Understand
Let's
that.
understand that. You're
And
right.
if
You're right.
And if you are that true American, hey, they
Right.
take away our freedoms. Well, this is the federal law. This
Right.
is your federal government.
That's just a hard one. Yeah. That's just a hard one for me to swallow. I get it. If you have a law, you know the laws, you break the law, you have the consequence, right? And that's just for me being an avid CBD and THC proponent.
If that
It's a
helps,
tough
that does.
tough one to swallow.
Sure,
right?
I was back in the 80s, you bet.
Right.
Great.
So,
Yeah,
but you do know the rules, you do know the laws, and it is what it is.
I mean, we also the death penalty here. The capital death penalty here is also for another item that to a lot of Americans is very sacred in their hearts, which is the death penalty for firearms. So you have a firearm here, it's just an automatic death penalty. You don't even need to fire. You don't even need to shoot it.
You don't even get to go to court. You have firearms.
Yeah.
So that's why there are no gun shops here in Singapore. There's 0 gun shops in Singapore. The only time you get to fire a gun is if you're in the military. There's no such thing as gun ownership in Singapore. Yeah, that's it. End of story.
So with that being said, what is crime like over there in Singapore?
We have I think we are the second lowest. We have the second lowest. We have the second lowest crime rate after Japan.
Second lowest, right? Now listen, here's the deal. Here in America, hey, I can get rich if I can find a loophole in that law. I'll be an attorney, and so even though the law says you should die, I'm gonna fight against that and make a lot of money. And so here in America, we've got so many frivolous lawsuits to try to get people out of.
The court system is just jammed with those.
So we've taken the law, and if this is the law, we've done this.
You're bending the shit out of it.
We've bent it to fit us, and well,
our interpretation.
I guess I see what you mean. Where over there, it's like, hey, is that a pistol? You're dead.
Right.
No questions. No questions.
Right.
You're dead.
I think Bear from Bear Facts about guns. I think he ever mentioned in his program that he wanted to say find an opportunity to have a chat with me because to understand why we actually have such a very low crime rate despite the fact that none of us have guns.
Right, but now let's also keep in mind that the country of Singapore is about the size of Rockford, right? About 150,000. What do you have?
No, we are slightly smaller than the city of New York.
Slightly smaller square mileage.
Square miles were probably about
how many people are there?
About 700, probably about 710 square miles.
Yeah.
And how many people inhabit that island?
5.6 million.
5.6 million.
We are actually
Chicago.
I think we are actually the 15 or the 16 highest density country in the world.
Yeah. They're taking up a lot of space on that island.
So
it's about the size of size of New York, population of Chicago, right? And that's cool, right? So what's the population of America?
7.2 billion.
Yeah, there's a ton.
No, the 200 was it 230 or was it 250 million?
I don't know.
7 billion.
Yeah.
Quadrillions. Who knows? The way things are producing these days.
Our coast to coast stretches.
So Gary, what would you attribute the low crime to?
Okay, so I think generally that's
for weed.
There's no
serious.
Yeah.
There's no one magic factor. It's actually a combination of factors. So first of all, I think generally in the Asian community, for most Asian countries, it's more of society versus individualism. So the laws and rules are made for the good of society as opposed to for your own individual benefit. So that's why most Western democracy experts fail to understand why we are not strong on individual rights. Well, we do have individual rights, but the rights of the community and society at large override your individual rights. So you may want to have a right to own a gun, but the rest of society wants to have a right to walk in the dark at 3 a.m. without getting shot. So
Right.
that overrides whatever individual reasons you have. So that's one of the, actually that's not only Singapore, that's one of the 8 tenets of Asian culture and governance. The other thing is, of course, Singapore being a small country, that we only have 2 international airports, we only have 2 bridges that you can run across to Malaysia. And we have 5.6 million people, but we only have a police force of less than 10,000.
So here's the cause. Are you ready? Are you ready for this cause? The cause for less violence and less crime in Singapore is that the food that they ingest is not riddled with chemicals.
It's a much higher quality food.
Not riddled with chemicals to make your brains do crazy things.
I
Right?
love
yes and no.
Right?
No, I mean, honestly, I love
fish and fruit.
Right, I love the fact that you brought that up, because that is absolutely a huge one. Because us here in America,
that probably is part of it.
Well, think about it. Really, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up, because you know how I always try to go that direction. Their brains are, I don't want to say that ours aren't functioning great, but they're definitely functioning in a much cleaner manner, because their bodies are not riddled with crap, and they're not. I mean, how many commercials, if you guys, if you watch TV today, almost every other commercial is some medicine to fix something that's wrong with you.
Correct.
How about do you have anxiety?
Eat right? Yeah. How about eat the right food?
Do you have anxiety and are afraid to go out in public? Take this. Some of the side effects are dry mouth, bad breath, sweaty pits.
Won't want to leave your house.
Yeah.
Don't want to leave your house.
Yeah.
So those advertisements, those are medical advertisements are banned.
It'll make you not so nervous.
Yeah, but you won't be so nervous.
And that really relates 100% to the food. And that's why you look at a lot of these Asian countries, and they are superior. Well, I mean, Japan, some of the greatest mechanical and electronics developments come out of these countries.
Oh, but wait,
there's more.
Our milk is wholesome. No, your milk is juiced up with hormones so that those cows can milk 8 times a day,
right,
instead of twice like they're supposed to.
Right. I mean, take even something so simple as just eggs.
Yeah.
Our eggs, right? So I eat eggs that come fresh out of the chicken. I don't buy them from the store.
That's
they literally
a funny place to have your mouth. But go ahead.
I'm not sure if you all have any statistics. What's the overall national obesity rate in the US?
Oh God, it's horrible.
It's probably 90%.
It's horrible. It's horrible. You go to, you go and you go walk into the store and you look and you just see how many people. It's like, wow, it's really actually kind of sad.
25%, 30%.
Actually, see that
would it be around 25% to 30%?
Obesity in the United States, it's got to be 70%.
Oh wow!
I'd probably say about 30%.
Yeah.
Well, here in Singapore, here in Singapore, the rate of obesity for adults from 18 to 69.
Maybe 40, I would say, but I doubt 70.
So in Singapore, the statistics for obesity from 18 to 69 years old, that big range of Singaporeans, male or female, is since 2013 has remained stable at about 9%.
That's great.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is a lot of people here in America, our food is horrible and they overeat like crazy.
Here in America.
And I'm guilty.
Here in America. Nearly 40% of American adults aged 20 and over are obese. 71.6% of adults aged 20 and over are overweight.
See, that's okay. So I was close there,
including obesity.
And part of that, and most of that is because of the food that we are eating is horrible. Like I was starting to talk about the eggs, right? So the eggs I eat, I call them farm fresh. They don't need to be refrigerated. They don't need to do anything. All you do is you rinse them off.
Should not be refrigerated.
Right. Well, right, but because our government takes them, they put them underneath an X-ray machine so they can look inside to make sure the chicken looks good. Not that you couldn't open up, crack that egg and go, oh, that's not a good egg.
Bleach
throw it out. Right. Then they bleach them. Right. So, I mean, the nutritional quality, if I served you an egg that I call farm fresh versus an egg you buy from the store, it's a completely different taste. It's a completely different color. Just the yolk alone is a different color. Oh, it's nice and golden. It's a totally different flavor. And I know for me, my personal fact, we all have mental issues that we deal with.
And they're amazingly better.
Right.
Yes, they are.
But when I eat right, and I'm eating, people use the word clean, I feel a gazillion times better, and that's part of the
That's
reason.
what I say.
And that's why Singaporeans are so
drive-
much happier.
No, but you guys have Philly cheesesteaks. We don't even get that over here.
Philly cheesesteak.
I'll send you one.
So you drive by. You can. I don't know anybody who doesn't drive. You can drive by McDonald's and go, man, that smells good. But you stop there and eat. You never walk out going, man, I feel great.
Wait a minute, Gary. You don't have them over there, but can you make them?
It is not I believe there are one or two American style cafes or dinners that do offer Americana food. So Philly cheesesteaks is probably one of them, along with thick crust pizzas and things like that. But it's not something it's not a street food that you see everywhere. It's only usually found in very very focused American style diners or cafes here.
All right,
because
so
we have our own Asian style
just
finger
called
food.
me out.
So Scott's sitting here talking about eating healthy, and he pops in a
Cliff Bar.
a bar that starts with a C and ends in a LIF.
They could send us a check.
And ingredients: organic brown rice.
Organic.
Yeah,
it starts out right. It doesn't say high fructose corn syrup.
The next one is syrup. Organic rolled oats, soy protein isolate. That sounds
which is like 80% of our other products,
isolate.
right?
They kept them away from all its other friends.
Yeah, organic. They like the word organic.
Well, organic generally means. Do you know what organic really means? How they can classify it as organic? I'm asking you.
No, I don't.
Right. Neither do I.
Right.
That's why. Because you know everything. Well, no,
good.
but organic generally means that there's no chemicals involved as far as spraying.
There's no artificial fertilizers, no artificial pesticide. Again, I think that's what
the government classifies as organic versus what's natural could be completely different.
But tell me about free range chickens.
But that's a good one. Free range chicken just means that they're not confined to a very small area.
That's wrong. They're not kept in a cage.
That's what I mean. They're not kept in they have an area they can run around.
Cage.
But
it could be 10 by 10. It's not.
It doesn't even have to be that big.
Right, but it means they can get around on their own because most chickens are left in a cage or in a small area that they lay eggs constantly. Right. So does that make a difference in the quality of that product? What you're feeding?
Actually, for us here in Singapore, we don't have chicken farms, but we do import in free range.
You guys have chickens?
So, no, there are no farms here in Singapore actually.
No farms?
Yeah, we are not an agriculture country. Sorry, we were never that.
Fruits and vegetables.
So 95% of Singapore food sources is actually imported
from
anywhere around the world.
Really?
We take eggs from Poland. We take eggs from Malaysia. We take vegetables from Vietnam. We take vegetables from Thailand. We take meat from America. We take meat from New Zealand. We are just like a basket.
I never knew that. And that's a real interesting fact, right?
We are not self-sufficient in food. We rely on the world as a food basket for all our food needs.
See, because for me, and this is the perception that I've had all over these years, is that Singaporeans, Japan, China, all that stuff.
Wow, I didn't know that either.
You guys eat really well, and you're into like the fruits, the vegetables, the fishes, the good stuff. That's why, and I don't mean this to be a racist or a comment, but if you look at a lot of Japanese or Chinese or Singaporeans, older folks, they don't have gray hair, right? Like, I mean, as a general rule,
as a general rule, yeah.
Right. I mean, but as a general rule, you guys, your body's aging and changing is so much slower than here in America.
It's actually aging.
They've got gray hair and wrinkles, and they look like they've been just beat through the ringer. And then you see somebody, a Singaporean that's 80 years old, and the guy looks like he's 55-year-old marathon.
Yeah, fortunately our physical aspect don't really sync with the aging aspect of what you are used to.
No, our food and our environment's killing us here in America.
So organic,
no doubt about it.
Organic means relating to or derived from living organisms.
Everything comes from that eventually.
Another one would be relating to, being, or dealt with by a branch of chemistry concerned with the carbon compounds of living beings and most other carbon compounds.
Okay.
Yeah, you hello, or organic. All right,
I love it.
But
anytime you add stresses to your body, it adds to aging.
Yeah, I mean, look at Ted. Ted's 17.
He's looking good too. He's just starting to grow that beard. I like it.
Actually, he just shaved it off.
Well,
Yeah. So I mean, that's
no, I'm 50.
you're looking good.
Yeah.
But so that answers a lot of questions though, as far as why our society is so much different than Singaporeans.
I mean, Ted's 50. Ted's 50. I'm 50. We are both 50.
I mean, think about the way our brains function versus the way another country's brains function. And why do we have 70% of people?
Yeah, but I exercise
overweight.
like 3 hours a day, so that's part of it.
You do what, 3 hours a day?
Exercises 3 hours a day. He's a workout freak. He's one of those guys.
Kent and I keep trying.
I prefer.
I exercise 3 hours a day.
Yep, and that's incredible.
I do an hour of pushing around my house in the morning, and then I do an hour of lifting in the afternoon, and another hour of pushing in the evening.
What do you mean by pushing? You're pushing around your house for an hour?
Yeah, it looks like
he froze.
Yeah.
I just push my wheelchair around the house.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that'll keep your pipes in shape.
That's right.
That's why I love doing what I do for a living.
So the truth of the matter is,
that's why I can still bench press over 300 pounds.
The truth of the fact is, America, we are screwed. We need to move to Singapore.
No,
I don't have enough land for that. You guys got to take a number.
everybody's a hypocrite.
100%.
I eat clean. Yep, you sure do. Right. But you feel better when you do, right?
Right.
There's United States citizens, more of them than not, have become reliant on convenience, right?
Oh, 100%.
We prefer convenience over. When we grew up, when all of us were all right in the same age bracket, when we grew up, dinner, got started like at 3 and was ready at 5, or you know what I mean.
And if you weren't in by 5, you were in trouble.
It took you a while to create dinner, right?
Because you're actually cooking something healthy instead of driving through McDonald's.
Now we've got processed meat we drop in the microwave. We wonder why there's cancer.
Right.
Is more prevalent than anything.
Well, that's all the chemicals in the food, not necessarily heating it up in a microwave.
I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah, it's not necessarily the microwave. The microwave's not actually that horrible.
It all binds together.
Right.
To the fact that, there was some, hey, here's what are we having for dinner tonight? Well, we're instead of sloppy Joe, we're gonna call it a made right. We've got the hamburger and it's just chopped up. Right. So there's a lot of things that we as Americans have decided to do. Now, when we go ahead, Ted.
Yeah, I think he froze.
He must have frozen.
All right,
so listen. So here's the deal.
And that's because of the fact that Americans back then did not work as many hours. We're putting in, 60, 70 hours a week just to make ends meet.
Mom stayed home, or one of the parents
Whoa,
stayed home.
Whoa,
I was say, one of the parents stayed home.
Hello, Mr. Sexist. Welcome,
yeah, right.
Welcome to Mad Men. Go ahead. What do you read?
All right. So Bob says, why does the U.S. allow so many chemicals in our food? Over the last few decades, the number of chemicals added to foods and other products has skyrocketed. We have created all sorts of plastics that are used in innumerable ways. We add preservatives to foods to keep them fresh. We add chemicals to foods to make them look more appealing, which I love salmon. I don't know if you love salmon, fish, whatever.
Yeah.
Did you know the stuff that you buy in the store, they actually inject pink
salmon's
color?
not pink.
Right, it's white.
Yeah.
But they inject a color in it to make it look more. It's like, why?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't give a crap what color my fish is, as long as it tastes good.
Yep.
That's why I try to catch. I'll buy
the
Atlantic wild cod.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's more of a white. It's more of a white, like a regular cod or something. Mm-hmm. So that right there. Why are you putting a chemical in something to change its color to give us a perception that it's better, or that it's why pink? What does that do for the? You know what I mean? What does that do for you? That's like the yellow number 5. I mean, it's just crazy.
Because all men like pink. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, well, that's a different story for Fantasy Factory
I'm
at
just saying.
818 Front Street in McHenry.
I'm just saying.
Stop by, mention the show, get 25% off
There you
today.
go,
Or the
It's
red
just weird stuff
40.
like that. The
Red
chemicals,
40, yeah.
the chemicals that they're adding, a lot of them don't make any sense. Preservatives. It used to be food farm to table. That's the best way to live, right? Literally living off your land.
Yeah.
Going in and buying all this stuff that you're buying from the store, and they're putting all this preservatives in to keep it around longer.
Oh, it's organic.
It's organic. I know.
It's
See, I
organic.
get it. Hit me hard, man. And people don't realize it's all become about convenience and quick, right? Nobody's just slowing down. And I'm as guilty as the next one, right? That go instead of just sit back, relax, make a nice meal.
Yeah, see, so Lisa,
Oh, you punk.
she's a brain expert.
Yeah, Lisa is amazing.
Right.
Have a good day in school, honey.
Instance in a real thing called red dye rage that occurs in the U.S. over it, how it affects the brain.
Yep,
This is
we were actually
exactly what we're
reading something last week. I forget exactly, but Lisa, thanks for bringing that one up, because this lady got rid of all of the basically dyes and crap in their kids' foods, and then one day she would give them like red number 5 and notice, right, red dye number 5 and notice what happens.
Nothing
and
like treating your children like lab rats.
Well, because they were trying to figure out what was happening, why the kids were getting so out of control. And that red dye would actually make the kids crazy. Yellows would make them like more lethargic. It was really amazing, the information that came out of that. And it's like, so now these kids are like, well, I won't eat any of that.
Well, here's what Bob says. The main ingredient in the coolant used today is
Ethylene
glycol, which is also exactly what everybody vapes here in America.
Ethylene glycol?
Yeah. Seriously. Well, it's not cigarettes. Yeah. Who here said, here, let me soak this cotton swab
and suck on electric
radiator fluid, and then we'll put a little heat underneath it, and you guys can inhale. That sounds like a great idea. No, I'm good.
So of course, vaping is illegal in Singapore. It's illegal
it should be illegal here as well.
Well, think about this one too, Gary. I mean,
Jess, how are you?
People always have the right to choose their poison. So to
I
speak,
agree, Jessica.
You're sucking on ethylene glycol and a battery. That's got to be really good for you.
I know a second grader that was
failing and in constant trouble. Yeah.
With a month of taking all red dye out of the diet, his behavior or her behavior has had normalized, and grades have increased. Very interesting, right?
Right.
I mean, literally, if you take
there's ingredients in our bread that actually cause hyperactivity.
Yeah.
It's amazing if you read what's really in our foods. The stuff that's in there that really shouldn't be in there. What they started doing it originally, I believe in my mind that they originally doing it for the better, right, and to preserve things so it keeping costs down, because things do spoil quite quickly. So I think the original intent was probably good, but then it's just gone overboard because now it's big business. Once again, follow the money. I mean, why we?
And with bread makers, it doesn't take much to make bread these days.
Bread's pretty basic, pretty simple, but you want it to last. They want it to last because really, true bread, well-made bread, 2-3 days, and it's kind of past its life, right? But now they put all these preservatives in it. You can have, stuff for 2 weeks and it's fine. It's like, well, for instance, we used the, eating at the fast food restaurant. You can go buy a cheeseburger from a certain restaurant that's golden.
Yeah.
Right. And look at it a year later, might be rock hard, but it looks identical the same. There's no mold on it. Right. So what preservatives in that's not even getting mold in it. So what is that doing to your body? Your body doesn't even know what to do with that chemical.
Right.
Right. Just like it just stores it right as fat. It has no clue what to do with it.
And so, I mean, as you look at things here in America, and you want to know why people are upset.
We have cheeses that are strictly oil.
Yeah. Right. I mean, Velveeta is not cheese, people. That just isn't cheese.
Lisa right there comes up with the perfect one.
What?
Everyone has these gluten intolerance. Gluten is this thing that binds shit together. It messes.
Neither is Kraft Singles.
Yeah,
right?
Kraft.
But that Kraft Singles. I mean, come on, you got to have your grilled cheese on Kraft Singles. No, I grew up on that.
No, horrible.
But the gluten is actually. There's so many people I didn't even realize I have a gluten allergy.
Yeah.
Your body just does not know what to do with that stuff.
Yeah. Lisa says my chiropractor has had a chicken nugget meal on his counter for 10 years, nor are there any bugs on it.
With shipping
Oh,
these
no bugs
days,
would
you
eat
can
it.
buy fresh
Here's-
cheese right from the maker and have it at your house in a day.
Here's how I know if a food is good or bad. And I kid you not. My dog, I have a couple dogs, but my one dog, Ellie, she's an English Shepherd. If she won't eat it, I won't eat it. There are so many foods out there that she won't touch because there's so much crap in it. And then what she does eat is always a good quality food, but she won't eat. Like
Dogs
I could give
their own poop.
I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you, this
She's
dog
got out
this,
in your
this,
backyard.
this dog is different. This dog is different. She will not eat processed
out
crap.
In your backyard
Eating
for
poop,
dog poop.
hunting for poop. But she won't eat crap processed food.
Yeah.
So that's when I know it's really bad.
Bob says there are some potential problems with food dyes, specifically carcinogenicity, leading
Carcinogenicity.
to the cancer development. Leading the
Genotoxicity.
mutations are damaging chromosomes.
Well, and our medical industry knows that, but there's billions of dollars. They got a cure for cancer.
Yeah.
But they won't tell you that.
No. Yeah.
What benefit is that?
Yeah. See, dogs eat cat poop too. There you go. So if save your little soft little poopies in your cat box for Scott.
Well, the reason that
Tell
they're
them it's
eating it,
organic.
they're missing something in their diet, and that's why they do it.
Tell them it's organic. It'll
Yeah.
be right there. As long
Maybe
as
us
it's
as humans
organic.
should eat more
Yeah.
poop.
Hey, Joe.
Better than the food we're eating.
How are you, buddy? Thanks for joining us here at 21.6 the Net. We're just this is the grounds. We got a few more minutes. No topic is a good topic. Seems to have been, and we've kind of talked about things and started off with some freedoms and some things like that. Outrage. Why people are outraged? They're not. We've come to that conclusion. There's not a lot of crime over in Singapore. One day I'm going to get over there just because I want to.
I want to meet Gary in person too. Plus, I'd love to be to Singapore, but.
Us growing up here, we're all in the same age bracket. Was when that kid got caned over there in Singapore.
Yes, Michael Fay. Yes.
Right. He was that became very.
He actually did a couple of, well, you guys will call it properly harmless teenager pranks, but here we take it very seriously. So he sprayed graffiti on cars. He stole a couple of street signs. Basically damaged public property. So we arrested him, and then we gave him 4 strokes of the cane and jailed him for like I think 2 months. And I think it was Bill Clinton that tried to accede on his behalf, saying that maybe you can do a jail sentence without caning. And we were going like, nah, that doesn't work over here. We don't really give a damn who are you. So we'll just cane you.
Gary, let me ask you something. What is your family social environment like over there? And the reason, and I guess so like over here, we always say that it takes a village to raise a kid.
Yes, correct. Yes, well, you are absolutely right.
We don't believe any shit that we say over here in America. I mean, seriously, because it does take a village, right?
Yes.
It needs people to talk to each other, help people. This is what I did for my kid. This is the problem I had.
Hillary.
Right? Yeah. But I mean, and I think that's one big thing that we are actually lacking here in America is acting what we believe and what we speak, right? Like helping out your neighbor and really wanting to, because I mean, here at DDOE, it's a daily dose of encouragement, trying to help people to be better. Or like Kent says, how can I make your day better? In America here, it's how can you make my day better, right?
Yeah.
Not how can I make your day better? How are you going to help me? What are you going to do for me? Right? I mean, and that's just insane. When did we get to that point? When it's just
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right in that statement. It takes a village. So it's not only Singapore. I think if you go to any other Asian country, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Japan, Korea, you will notice that village structure in terms of taking a village to raise a kid. So you got your 3-tier generation, your parents, your grandparents, and your extended family, and then you got friends, and then of course there's society as a whole with its rules that ensures that you don't do anything that disrupts the harmony of others who may not be related to you. But if you ask me, America did have that. in the 40s, in the 50s, in the 60s. From a historical perspective, of what I do have seen in terms of documentaries and books I read, America did have that sort of structure, and it was a very closely knit structure. But I think if you look at the society of today, um, it becomes a me generation. I think it's a changing value of being a me generation. It's my right, it's my body. I don't give a shit what you think about it. If I want to carry a gun, that's my right, that's my thing. If I want to eat this, that's my right. If I want to have if I want to be another alphabet, that's my right. I don't really care what you think. I don't really bother what you think. So I think that is probably when you can start, maybe you can safely say that's a decline of the American structure system as a family unit.
Here's what it was back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s was, and it does, and I will fight hard against that. It takes a village to raise a kid, because it doesn't. That's a cop out that you're going, I don't want to deal with my kid. I want somebody else to raise my kid. Here's what raises a kid. Wait till your fucking dad gets home.
Not here.
And then
I got that one all the time.
And then dad gets home. And what do you hear? Here comes that belt out of those.
Did you live at my house?
And guess what? You got your ass whooped. And if you stepped out of line, you knew right from wrong. You got your shit whooped.
Right.
That's the village head doing his job.
That's caning right there.
So corporal punishment is still valid here. In schools, if you're committed, very
still be valid here. That's the reason we got so many disrespectful,
I got
shitty
three
kids.
older brothers. Do you know how much shit I learned watching my three brothers get their ass spanked and whooped? Guess what?
Zero.
We don't do that, do we?
Right. I'm not right.
Right. And guess how many times I got my butt whooped? A bunch.
Right. And it made you realize that,
and hey,
I don't do that.
Hey buddy, this is gonna hurt me more than hurt. Bullshit, Dad. You're hitting me with a belt.
You know what? You learned from that. You didn't do it. And today we don't. Oh, that's wrong.
My kids still get their ass. They know what the red spoon is.
Yeah.
So caning is public caning of students is conducted here in Singapore schools for very serious offenses. We're talking about very serious offenses such as stealing and assault. For any other offenses, you can just be referred to the police. It's as simple as that. But when you do those serious offenses, only the principal or the discipline master is allowed to carry out public caning of the student in the school in front of the other student.
Right. Ted, you got a bad loop going on there.
America would be much, much better. I mean, so the reason I say takes a village is just like help, like me going to you saying, Kent, I'm having this issue with my kids. I don't know what to do. What did you do?
Scott?
Well, you might say, right. So back when I was a kid, my dad pulled out the belt, and that worked well for me. Unfortunately, today I would get arrested, or they would probably take away from me.
Nope, we got a bad loop there, Ted. I got to
so
get you.
It talking to other people and seeing what's going on, that works. Letting them know when you do something wrong, you get in trouble. It's a kind of a law.
I
right?
agree, Lisa.
We have as Americans become softer, big time on that.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the reason we are the way we are right now. Parents aren't raising their kids. The kids are raising the parents.
Yeah.
The kids tell the parents what's going on. Lisa made that comment down there. What did she say? Children rule the homes. Children rule the homes now here very often.
And this
because they're trying to keep peace.
And this isn't a punishment. I'm going to take away your phone. That's not a punishment. Damn kids shouldn't have a phone.
Yeah, you're right.
Guess what? Pull out your belt, pull out a spoon, whoop their ass.
I guess also
give them a spanking. Teach them wrong.
I guess also in the US you have a very you also have a very bureaucratic department in the form of the CPS, and that actually in a way interferes in a lot of what should be parenting that is for the good of the child.
I am by no means saying abuse a child.
Yeah, we're not talking about that. Yeah.
But you got to know right from wrong.
Right.
Listen, if my child puts its hand on a hot burner, they're going to get burned.
Right.
They're going to learn, ooh, I shouldn't do that. Hurts.
They won't do that again.
You step across the line, get your ass whooped, and guess what? That hurts. I better not do that. Right? Oh man, that made my mom and dad mad. I don't care who you are as a child. The rest of your life, it is innately and built into you because of your DNA and the people who made you, that you are constantly trying to strive for mom and dad's affection and approval, even at 53 years old.
Right. I agree.
It doesn't matter.
54.
So the village concept actually refers, in the Asian context, the village concept refers to the family being where the discipline is, and then you have the schools, which acts as carrying out the discipline during the period when the child is in school. Then you have society at large with its laws and regulations that will then regulate you within the society, and that is the village structure that we're talking about. That it takes a village to raise a kid.
But here's what happens today. I pulled my belt out to give Gary a spanking, and my other
CPS will be at your doorstep soon.
got Tedder over here with their phones filming the whole thing. I'm gonna put it out on social media.
Right.
Yeah, we don't really.
Look at the abuse.
Right? This is abuse.
When I'm just trying to raise a good quality human.
Listen,
Yeah.
the bottom line is this: the show is over.
I agree with.
Yeah,
I
we
agree with
are
you.
past our hour today, guys.
I've got a 9 o'clocker. Listen, we'll pick this up, or maybe next week is a village raises a child. Question mark.
Does it really take a
Right?
village? That's a good topic.
So we'll
actually.
play around with that because I can talk
Yep.
forever, and it infuriates me when people say that because it doesn't. Be a good parent.
It's been fun, guys.
You decided to have a child.
You
That's
raise
your
them,
responsibility.
Right.
Yeah.
Raise them the way you see fit.
All right. For all of us here at 21.6 The Net, no bridge this morning. Come back at 1 for the Neighborhood Pulse, and then we'll hang out. So
We appreciate you guys stopping in and getting caught in the net today. As always, go out there, guys, share the love and try to make someone else's day. Do something for somebody else. Don't wait for someone to do something to you. And if your kid's being an asshole, we're not proposing that. Reprimand them. Let them know that that's unacceptable. You guys have a great week. Thank you. We love you all. Be good.
all right. See ya.